It's time for a solution spotlight on data trust. I'd like to introduce Sue and Jonathan. This is going to be another interview format. And so Jonathan Agee, Teknion CTO, will be doing the interviewing. But let me introduce Sue. Sue Rayburn has worked in the data analytics space in various roles for more than 20 years. Takes great pride in calling herself first and foremost a data evangelist with passion and talent for helping businesses solve myriad problems with their data assets. As an experienced data analytics executive, Sue has put her expertise to work by leading cross-industry teams in the successful implementation of innovative data analytics solutions. Currently, Sue is VP Enterprise Information and Management and Analytics, responsible for data analytics strategy and execution at Delta Community Credit Union, where she has crafted and delivered a program to make the CU more data insights driven. So Sue, thank you so much for your participation today. And Jonathan, thanks so much.
All right. Hi, Sue. Good to see you. All right. I don't think I can hear you.
Sorry, I have my mute on.
Oh, well, mute is a good thing to have on sometimes, and other times not so great. So thanks for joining us remotely. We really appreciate you coming on today. So as David mentioned, what we're here to talk about today is all about data quality and trust in data. And so I wanted to start off with a question for you, Sue, to see if you could kind of give us some background about the credit union, particularly what kinds of data quality challenges you face at the credit union when you joined.
Sure. So, David, Jonathan, sorry. I'm so happy to be here to talk to you about our journey. I've been with the credit union for about 8 years now. And when we started, my charter was to establish this program to bring a 360-degree view, as cliched as it may sound, to our view of our members, so that we would be able to do a lot more member-driven, marketing, and be able to really focus on our member needs. The challenges were initially to really think about the definition of a member. How do you define a member? What characterizes a member versus an account? And establish that master view, if you will.
Okay.
So that was really our biggest challenge initially.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I'm sure we'll probably talk about other ones as we go along and hear more, but tell us a little bit at the beginning. You kind of touched on this around the master view of the member, but what are some of the ways that as you've progressed at the credit union, you now define data quality, right? What are those key elements that you think about in terms of knowing that you have a high level of data quality?
Yeah, so we think about data quality in terms of 3 dimensions. Primarily the correctness of the data. So one of the ways we leverage our BI and our data analytics ecosystem is to produce metrics for the credit union. We want to be absolutely sure that these metrics are accurate and they reflect the right state of affairs, especially because we use it for the metrics that we measure are really corporate level. So we want to be absolutely sure that we have good processes to measure them accurately. Secondly, the thing that we think about is completeness. Like I said, one of the biggest, things that we wanted to leverage out of developing this data competency within DCCU was really to be able to enrich and enhance our understanding of the member, right? So we wanted to be able to augment and create as big a picture as we could about the member. Bring in their interaction information, bring in their behavioral information, so that we could start doing more predictive analytics. So that was a big piece of it. And in order to do this, we needed to have current data. So currency is a big deal too. We don't want stale information. We want to ensure that the data is updated frequently, and we have processes to maintain these aspects of data quality, if you will.
Yeah, thanks, Sue. Those are great, clear, concise definition that you can go back to easily. So you talked about the kind of the charter you were given at coming in. give us an idea of the types of initiatives and projects that you've put in place over those 8 years that you've been there in order to improve data quality specifically.
Sure. So one of the things I mentioned is trust in the metrics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are 5 corporate metrics that we measure. 4 of them come out of our data warehouse. We measure services per household. We look at revenue growth. We look at member growth. We look at loan growth. So these are key metrics that all emanate out of our data warehouse. And in order to ensure that we are producing accurate and correct metrics, we have to leverage processes where we are able to tie things back to some kind of version of the truth. For instance, in the case of the loan metric, we have to be able to tie it back to balances and be able to slice and dice it by lending lines of business. We have to be able to quality assure the counts that we are getting. So we have put in a lot of processes. Every time we bring in a data source into our ecosystem, we have processes where we're verifying these things and tying it out to some control total or some version of the truth. This has helped us build things like profitability models. It has helped us build the services per household metric that I talked to you about, by building a framework for householding within the data warehouse environment. The other things that we do is we leverage our lending analytic partners. They leverage our data in order to triangulate data and make sure that when people enter freeform, enter values, that these things tie out. So, for instance, a good example of that is they have it may be a 30-year mortgage, and you have another system reflecting it as a 15-year mortgage. Mm-hmm. And these things happen because there's so much manual entry going in some of these legacy systems. So we have check reports that tie these things out, make sure that we have exception flagging so that we can correct these in time so that it does not affect the quality of our reporting. We have completely automated our call reporting. I heard the previous.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So we have reduced it from a 3-week process to less than a week now. And most of it is through automated oversight of the numbers. Mm-hmm. So we have check reports on check reports, a layering, so that we know that, page 6 matches with page 14. We've done these type of checks, as well as build out these reports. So a lot of progress has been made. These are just some of the initiatives, but we have a lot going on in terms of making sure that we are reporting things accurately.
Those are some fantastic stories. Thank you for telling us about that. So great initiatives and a great definition for data quality. When I think about data quality and kind of as we transition from what is it and how do you start to achieve it, I really want us to talk now about kind of the benefits and transition to that side of things. And so I like to think about the benefits of data quality in kind of 2 big categories. One would be direct benefits, those things that just are going to naturally happen as you improve your data quality. And then there's going to be the indirect benefits, right? Things that take a little bit more kind of organizational change or education or something like that to ensure that you take advantage of all those indirect benefits. So give us some of the ideas of direct benefits and indirect benefits that you've seen at Delta Community from improvements in data quality that you've been able to make.
So some of the direct benefits have to do with some of the analytic models that we've been able to build in the last 1 year or so. Because of our emphasis on completing that picture of the member, we've been able to build a product recommendation model that has had shown significant uplift. And we actually rolled it out earlier this year. And we're already seeing that produce huge revenue gains for us. And it couldn't have been possible without building that analytic framework in terms of all the metrics that we produce and really focusing on the completeness of our data to be able to and also ensuring that the numbers were things that people could trust. So from a direct benefit standpoint, we're seeing direct revenue gains, and because of all the automation that we've done within our processes to ensure that data quality, ensure the veracity of our metrics, we have reduced because of the automation that has gone into it. We're seeing huge cost savings and resource savings. And at the end of it, we have examiners coming in and praising our processes in terms of how effortless it is to go through an examination, because they find it hard to find problems with our numbers. And
that's what you want.
That's often something that they sometimes get frustrated, but they like it, obviously, and they hold us out as an example to other financial institutions.
Well, congratulations on that. That's really awesome. You mentioned this word of trust, and in my opinion, I think trust is one of the most powerful kind of benefits that you can see from improvement in your data quality. So I'd love to hear you kind of unpack that trust in data at Delta Community Credit Union. You said you've achieved some of that. What are you doing that, I think trust is so easy to lose, so easy, so hard to gain. What are the things that you've done beyond just increasing data quality that have led to increased trust at the credit union?
Yeah, so one initiative that I'm particularly proud of is we were kind of the pioneers in ensuring data protection within our data ecosystem. So we partnered with a company called Profegrity that enables encryption or tokenization of the data. So what it does is basically masks your data while you go through your ETL processes and all that, and ensures some kind of a rights-based approach to viewing that data, be it in a BI tool or within a advanced analytics environment. So that has been a huge emphasis for us as a financial institution. We take our members' data very, very seriously, and we wanted to protect that. And so that's one of the things we've done, and that enhances, how we would perhaps communicate with our members to tell them, hey, we care about your privacy, and we care about your that your sensitive information is protected. The other thing we're doing is we just started, emphasizing data catalogs and bringing that literacy and that transparency to our processes, so that folks in the downstream analysts and other users within our larger, broader organization can really understand how we calculated a metric, right? For instance, what business rules were applied, where does it come from, so that they start to build that trust and understanding of how something gets delivered. So that has been a huge emphasis for us, and that's already producing a lot of returns. But in the year to come, we hope to leverage more automated tools that will help us make that process even more facile and easy for our data users, and building a stronger data community within data community.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes total sense. So kind of our final question, talking about, you mentioned kind of the some of these benefits. What I'd like to unpack is kind of the benefits to decision making that trust has resulted in, right? So not only, we can communicate with our members about, how we're handling their data, and we can give trust to our users who are building reports and analytics. But have you seen really kind of those high level decision making be quicker, more confident in what decisions you're making as an organization?
Oh, absolutely, because we have focused on those three pillars of data quality that I mentioned. Making sure everything's correct, making sure it's complete, making sure we have that currency. We are leveraging it for everything from reporting to building advanced analytics, analytic models that are being actually used, right? So we built two models this year, one focused on the cross-sell recommendations, and the other one on fraud mitigation within the account-to-account transfer process, which is actually a phenomenal application where we are leveraging advanced analytics, but also giving the users a means to review their items and stop payments where we think, proactively manage fraud. So from a decision-making standpoint, it has become a huge ability for us to take our decision-making to make it much more data-driven. And one thing I'll say that kind of points to the trust that decision makers, users, and members have in our data is because of the fact that with the demand that we are experiencing in terms of the number of requests into my group in order to serve up more reporting or to serve up more models is a testament to the fact that there's a tremendous need, a pent up need within the credit union. They want to start using this even more, to take it to the next level. So definitely, and in terms of another thing that I'll say in terms of the intrinsic trust we have from a decision making standpoint, I've been running surveys for our user base for the last several years, and our data quality or trust in data review has always been in the high 80s. So that speaks to how much the users really trust the data that we produce and make available through our systems. And so the demand, the pent up need for these things, and the fact that we're getting a lot of mileage out of our data assets just speaks to the fact that there's a huge amount of trust. And
that's fantastic. Yeah, that's really fantastic. So thank you, Sue. We've got actually just a couple of questions here from the audience that we've been queuing up, so I want to share those here. So thinking about actually one very specific one. Can you repeat the name of the encryption software that you mentioned that was a part of your overall initiatives?
So it's Protegrity.
Protegrity?
Yes.
Okay, Protegrity. So we'll make sure we share that in the chat with folks so that they can take a look at that. So another question in terms of looking at the validation of your data. What solutions or tools are you using to kind of automate the comparison and validation of metrics in your data?
So it's a combination. So we use Warescape. We were one of the early adopters of Warescape, which I believe Teknion is a partner with. That has helped us really automate our data pipelines and really move in a very agile way. It's one of the reasons that we are so successful in our data practice today. And we use that in order to verify things like, counts and balances and, do some basic quality assurance on what is being landed into the data warehouse. But the check reports I mentioned to you is all built within our BI tools, essentially. So the reason why we built it in a BI tool, and we use MicroStrategy, which is a phenomenal tool. We use why we built it within MicroStrategy is because it sometimes tends to be contextual. So it depends on what you're looking at. For instance, one of the things that we recently were able to identify with this is we have this reporting to the credit bureau we do every month, right? And we had an issue where the date on the last refresh date for the credit file was not updated. And this is not a systemic problem. It's just a segment of the customers, maybe because it was manually typed in. And we were able to isolate that and not report wrongly to the credit union saying these people had their loans outstanding, which would have translated to a bad member experience later on. So we are able to use our BI tools effectively. So it's across the spectrum. It's both Warescape and in MicroStrategy that we deploy, quality control measures.
Very good. Well, thank you, Sue. Really appreciate you coming on and speaking to data quality and trust in data at Delta Community Credit Union. Just one note on data quality, and you heard this from Roger from Texas Mutual. Teknion does have a tool in this space, Validator, that is targeted specifically at this question of data quality and trust in data. And so that's something that we will be having a live demo coming up later. So you should be looking for invites for that if that's something that you're interested in. That's something that you'd see in your inbox sometime soon to get that scheduled for you. So thank you again, Sue. Really appreciate it.